Beneath the still surface of the ocean lies an entire mysterious world, where time seems to stand still and ancient stories quietly await the day they will be told once more. Charred shipwrecks in the Gulf of Mexico, ancient villages buried beneath the sea, or a 60,000-year-old petrified forest all serve as reminders of a distant past, of civilizations that once flourished and then vanished without a trace. So fasten your seatbelt as we dive into today's mystery. But first, you'll have incredible luck if you like and subscribe before this video ends. The unknown shipwreck in the Gulf of Mexico. Beneath the vast waters of the Gulf of Mexico, thousands of mysteries lie silently buried beneath layers of cold sediment. Among them is the wreck of a large sailing ship, stretching nearly 124 feet in length, recently discovered thanks to modern unmanned diving technology. The very first images transmitted from the ocean floor left the entire team of archaeologists stunned. A massive wooden skeleton, twisted as if it had just withstood intense heat, with charred planks and a collapsed deck. All of it stands as silent testimony to a disaster that unfolded in the shadows of history. What makes this wreck even more intriguing is that it remains completely unidentified. While experts estimate it was built sometime in the mid-19th century, there is absolutely no symbol or notation to pinpoint its nationality. No intact flag survives, no clue as to what the ship once carried or to whom it belonged, and certainly nothing to reveal the fate of those who lived and worked aboard her. The only thing the flames left behind are burn marks, with the hull deeply etched by heat and pressure. Perhaps the ship caught fire in the middle of the open sea, or maybe it was attacked and ultimately claimed by the ocean. Among the approximately 4,000 shipwrecks scattered across the Gulf of Mexico, each is a fragment of history. Yet, most of their secrets remain tightly held by the sea. Only with the advancement of automated diving technology have people begun to reach the ocean's depths, witnessing firsthand what has been buried beneath the waves for hundreds of years. Every dive is a journey into the past, where each shipwreck stands as living evidence of perilous voyages and grand adventures on the open ocean. The unknown shipwreck in the Gulf of Mexico is more than just an archaeological discovery. It opens up countless questions about the fate of those who perished, about unfinished journeys taken down into the depths. It all serves as a haunting reminder of the fragility of human life in the face of nature and time. The story of this ship is like an unwritten book, leaving behind for future generations a space that is both elusive and captivating. Only as technology continues to evolve and human courage remains undaunted in the quest for discovery, can we hope to uncover more clues and begin to answer some of the mysteries still lost in the darkness of the sea. Et El Yam. In 1984, beneath the deep blue waters off the coast of Carmel in Israel, an underwater team of archaeologists discovered the remains of a Neolithic fishing village lying about 10 meters below the surface. The site is known as Et El Yam and has been dated to between 6,900 and 6,300 BCE, nearly 8,000 years ago. Thanks to the site's unique preservation under layers of marine sediment, Et El Yam is considered one of the most intact prehistoric underwater settlements ever found. Excavations here have led to countless astonishing discoveries. Scientists uncovered traces of ancient houses, burial grounds containing human remains, and a megalithic stone circle arranged in a semicircle around a freshwater spring, believed to be a symbol for the community's water-drawing rituals. Ancient wells with solid construction, fragments of pottery, stone tools, animal bones, and hundreds of varieties of both cultivated and wild plants have helped experts piece together a vivid picture of daily life in this ancient community. The people of Et El Yam were not only hunters and gatherers, they had also begun to farm and raise livestock, marking a major step toward permanent settlement. Studies of human skeletons found at the site show that villagers had an average life expectancy of up to 50 years. Their diverse diet of fish, domesticated animals, and plants gave them better health than many other ancient communities. However, they still faced numerous challenges. Archaeological evidence documents the oldest known case of tuberculosis, as well as signs of malaria and ear problems, likely caused by frequent diving in cold water. Although ATL Yam once flourished as a thriving coastal community, no one knows for certain what caused its sudden disappearance. Some theories suggest a volcanic eruption somewhere in the Mediterranean or a tsunami may have drowned the village. Others believe rising sea levels after the last ice age slowly engulfed all traces of this civilization. Whatever the real reason may be, ATL Yam today remains silent beneath the sea, holding countless mysteries about prehistoric human life that modern archaeology has yet to fully explain. The origin of the world's first smiley face. Amid the ancient landscapes of Turkey, archaeologists have discovered an artifact that seems simple at first glance, but has left the world in awe. It is a small ceramic jar, nearly 3,700 years old, once belonging to the Hittite civilization that ruled this region in ancient times. What makes this jar remarkable isn't any intricate design or sophisticated craftsmanship, but rather the smiley face carved into its surface, 2 round dots for eyes, and a single curved line forming a friendly smile. This discovery serves as a bridge between the distant past and our modern world, because the smiley face is almost identical to the emoji we use every day on social media. It leads many to wonder whether the desire to share joy, optimism, and humor has always been a part of human nature, stretching back thousands of years. The cheerful face on this ancient jar brings a sense of connection, reminding us of the rich spiritual life of the ancient Hittites, people who, even in a turbulent society, still found ways to express happiness, even if just through a small sketch. Archaeologists believe that engraving a smiley face on a jar was more than just a playful act or a moment of whimsy. It might hold a deeper spiritual meaning, or perhaps it was a special message the potter wished to send to whoever would use the jar. Yet, to this day, the real reason why the smiley face appeared on that jar remains an unsolved mystery. Maybe it was simply a hope to make someone smile when they looked at it, or perhaps it was a symbol of luck or peace in the daily life of people long ago. The 60,000-year-old underwater ancient forest in the Gulf of Mexico. Deep beneath the Gulf of Mexico, not far from shore, lies an ancient forest long thought to be forever lost to time. It's hard to imagine that 60,000 years ago, this area was once dry land, covered with towering bold cypress trees reaching skyward in the pristine atmosphere of an Ice Age Earth. Over the ages, rising sea levels slowly swallowed the forest, burying these massive trees under layers of mud, sand, and saltwater. Yet, after tens of thousands of years, the wood has remained almost perfectly preserved, as if still alive. This natural wonder only revealed itself after Hurricane Ivan swept through the Gulf in 2004, stirring up powerful currents that disrupted the thick sediment hiding the ancient woodland. When scientists first reached the site, they were stunned to discover an entirely different world, silently concealed beneath murky, chocolate-colored water. Visibility at the ocean floor was nearly zero, and schools of sharks circled the area, making every dive a heart-pounding experience. Even so, what they found went beyond anything they could have imagined. Gigantic bald cypress trunks, still wrapped in their original bark, stretching out from the mud like petrified arms reaching up from the depths. But the marvels didn't end with the breathtaking sight of this ancient landscape. Within the waterlogged wood, scientists discovered more than 300 species of organisms, including many completely new bacteria. Some of these microbes hold the promise of medical breakthroughs in the future, from painkillers to potential cancer treatments. Life has quietly adapted and thrived here, evolving in an environment humans once considered untouchable for tens of millennia. The ancient underwater forest in the Gulf of Mexico stands as a living testament to the power of nature, as well as a priceless heritage site, where every dive is not only a journey into the past, but also an adventure toward humanity's healing potential in years to come. Beneath those calm waters, the story of life, resilience, and the enduring mysteries of nature continues to unfold, waiting for the day when human patience and curiosity can finally unlock its deepest secrets. The mystery of the elongated skulls in Mexico's underwater cave, hidden deep beneath the turquoise waters of the Yucatan Peninsula, The flooded cave of Sakactun is not only a majestic natural labyrinth, but also a haunting vault of secrets from the ancient Maya civilization. When archaeologists dove through its winding, submerged corridors, they discovered a series of human skulls with unusual shapes, many of them intentionally elongated along the vertical axis. This was the result of cranial deformation, a practice begun in childhood that was common in ancient Maya society, meant to distinguish social status, signify rank, or express special spiritual beliefs about the soul. This discovery has sparked many theories. Some suggest these individuals were not victims of gruesome sacrificial rituals, but instead, this was a burial ground reserved for special people, chieftains, members of noble families, or those who held significant spiritual roles within the community. The presence of elongated skulls in two separate chambers of the cave, ranging from adolescents to adults, only highlights the complexity of Maya ideas about death and the afterlife. Sakactun is valuable not only for archaeology, but is also woven into the fabric of strange legends passed down for generations. Locals believe that the cave is guarded by a feathered serpent deity, a creature with the head of a horse and the body of a dragon, able to soar through treetops before plunging into the deep waters. Such legends add an aura of the sacred to the cave, reflecting the Maya belief in gateways connecting the earthly world to the spiritual realm. Sakactun, located south of the ancient city of Mayapan, supports the theory that the skulls were interred here to await a cycle of rebirth in a new world. Because the cave is isolated from residential areas and there are no clear signs of sacrifice or violence, experts believe Sakactun served as a sacred cemetery where noble families entrusted their deceased loved ones far from settlements and drinking water sources. The Maya did not drink from these waters, convinced that the cave's stream was a holy place associated with the soul's journey to another realm. Beyond the elongated skulls, other artifacts such as pottery, stone tools, and animal bones have been found, adding to the picture of the ancient Maya's rich material and spiritual life. Sakactun is not only a unique archaeological site, but also a crossroads between reality and myth, a place where mysterious stories continue to live on in the hearts of the local people. Every dive into the cave is not just an exploration of the past, but a dialogue with the beliefs, fears, and hopes of ancient ancestors, making Sakactun forever one of the most mysterious and captivating destinations in the hidden world of the Maya. Ritual offerings and sacrifice at Lake Titicaca. Amid the clear, tranquil waters of Lake Titicaca, archaeologists have discovered sacred traces that reflect the profound spiritual life of ancient cultures. On the lake bed, they found the intact remains of young llamas, lying alongside intricate gold figurines, incense vessels, and many other valuable artifacts. These discoveries mark not only a brilliant era of the Tiwanaku civilization, but also reveal the continued legacy of the mighty Inca Empire that followed. The sacrificial rituals at Titicaca carried many layers of meaning, far beyond an ordinary religious act. Offering healthy young llamas, tiny gold statues, and rare treasures to the gods was seen as proof of the belief that only the most valuable offerings could please the deities, whether it was to pray for bountiful harvests, favorable weather, or prosperity for the community. Especially noteworthy were offerings such as seashells or items originating from far-off places like Ecuador, which demonstrate the wide-reaching trade networks of that time and the connections between cultures that lasted for centuries. The artifacts found were not scattered randomly, but were usually arranged carefully in groups and placed within underwater ceremonial areas. This reveals a highly organized society, where ritual offerings and sacrifices were not just individual acts, but collective ceremonies that involved close coordination among the elite and ruling classes. The presence of incense vessels, animal-shaped figurines, and precious ornaments shows that each offering carried its own meaning, sometimes as thanks to the gods, sometimes as a plea for protection for a family, or sometimes as a prayer for good fortune for the whole community. Further study of the rituals at Titicaca has shown that the sacrifice of young llamas and the offerings of gold and silver to the depths of the lake did not end with the Tiwanaku, but were also preserved and developed by the Inca as a central part of their spiritual beliefs. For the Inca, Lake Titicaca was not only a precious source of water, but a sacred place bound to the legend of creation, the birthplace of the sun god, and the origin of the first royal bloodline. Because of this, every ritual that took place here carried immense significance, reflecting devotion, sacrifice, and an unwavering belief in the god's protection over the fate of the entire nation. The wreck of the San Jose. Lying deep off the coast of Colombia, the wreck of the San Jose remains at the center of one of the most dramatic stories in the history of maritime exploration. More than just a relic lost in the darkness of the ocean, this ship holds a fortune estimated at nearly $20 billion, an unimaginable treasure that has captured the longing of treasure hunters and nations alike. The discovery of the San Jose's location sent shockwaves through the archaeological world and ignited an unprecedented dispute involving multiple countries and organizations around the globe. Back in the early 18th century, the San Jose was the pride of the Spanish fleet. The ship made long, perilous voyages across the ocean, transporting riches from the New World back to Europe. In 1708, as the War of Spanish Succession raged, this treasure galleon became a prime target for the British Navy off the coast of Cartagena. The sea battle unfolded in smoke and cannon fire, and the San Jose, carrying more than 600 crew members and a massive treasure, was struck and exploded with tremendous force. All the treasure plunged to the bottom of the sea, and only a handful of sailors survived to tell the tale of the tragedy. For more than 3 centuries, the ship and its treasure lay buried beneath icy waters, becoming legend among stories of golden gateways swallowed by the ocean. It wasn't until the modern era, when teams of explorers with advanced technology began scanning the ocean floor, that the true location of the San Jose was finally revealed. But the discovery of this priceless fortune only brought even greater controversy. Colombia, the nation where the wreck was found, quickly asserted its sovereignty and imposed a series of preservation laws that have made any recovery operation extremely difficult. The dispute didn't end there. Spain, along with the United Kingdom, also laid claim to the treasure. At the same time, international treasure hunting companies, whose efforts had helped locate the San Jose, were determined not to walk away empty-handed. Years of lawsuits and legal arguments have followed, with each party invoking international law, cultural heritage rights, and even secret agreements to bolster their position. At the center of all these battles, the wreck of the San Jose remains undisturbed beneath the seabed, an enduring testament to both the splendor and the violence of the age of treasure galleons that once ruled the seas. Even now, the vast hoard of treasure has yet to be brought to the surface, because every artifact, every gold coin, represents not just material wealth, but also a piece of history, a cultural legacy that must be protected with the utmost care. The hunt for Cleopatra's tomb. For generations, the mystery of Cleopatra's final resting place has been a question that fascinates the world. This powerful queen is renowned not only for her beauty and intellect, but also for the enduring legend of her death and her lost tomb, a mystery that has made ancient Egypt even more legendary in the eyes of later generations. The search for Cleopatra's tomb has led archaeologists to many different theories. Some believe that her burial place, together with her lover Mark Antony, must be somewhere within the city of Alexandria. Others, however, suspect that the secret lies in a barren land on the city's outskirts, where the ancient temple of Taposiris Magna stands. The person who reignited hope for this search is Dr. Kathleen Martinez, a Dominican woman who has devoted her passion and years of her life to excavations at Taposiris Magna. Originally a lawyer, Martinez was drawn into archaeology after a debate with her father about Cleopatra's fame. Her determination, passion, and sharp intuition drove her to overcome every obstacle, tirelessly persuading Egyptian authorities to allow her to carry out excavations beneath the ancient temple's foundations. In the end, her persistence has begun to pay off. Martinez's team uncovered an extensive, deep tunnel system beneath the temple grounds. According to archaeological evidence, this site may very well be the hidden entrance leading to the tomb of the Queen and Mark Antony. Artifacts have surfaced with each layer of earth and stone, coins bearing Cleopatra's portrait, statues of the goddess Isis, whom the Queen considered her earthly incarnation, exquisite gold jewelry, ancient cemeteries, and many other relics that all point to the influence of Egypt's last royal dynasty. Each new discovery brings another clue, and Martinez is increasingly convinced that she is closing in on a secret buried for over 2,000 years. Deep beneath the ground, at Taposiris Magna, Cleopatra's tomb may be waiting to be revealed, promising to transform our understanding of one of ancient Egypt's most enduring icons. Shipwrecks off the coast of Singapore. Amid the stormy waters off the coast of Singapore, recent archaeological discoveries have opened a new chapter in the history of Southeast Asia. Two ancient shipwrecks lying deep on the ocean floor, one dating back to the 14th century, the other to the 18th, were accidentally discovered by researchers during the handling of a maritime incident. This find not only sent ripples through the archaeological community but also offered convincing evidence of Singapore's status as a bustling hub of trade long before the arrival of Europeans on the island. When divers approached the sunken ships, they uncovered a trove of valuable artifacts. Most notably, inside the 14th century wreck, hundreds of rare ceramic items were recovered, remarkably intact, after centuries buried beneath layers of mud and saltwater. These objects not only reflect the exquisite craftsmanship of medieval ceramics, but also highlight the diversity of maritime trade routes stretching from China and Southeast Asia all the way to India and the Middle East. Many of the items belonged to famous lines of pottery that were once highly prized luxury goods, sought after by merchants and nobility throughout the region. Beyond ceramics, archaeologists also found essential tools, maritime instruments, and even organic remains, such as wood from the hull that had preserved its grain after hundreds of years. These remnants have helped scientists gain a clearer understanding of ship construction, boat-building techniques, and the lives of sailors who once crossed thousands of nautical miles. But more than just material significance, the discovery of these two shipwrecks off Singapore also strengthens the view that, long before the arrival of the West, this area served as a vital crossroads connecting great civilizations. Ships loaded with goods were not only transporting wealth, they were also bridges of culture, spreading knowledge, beliefs, and artistic creativity between nations and peoples. The presence of foreign artifacts on board further shows that merchants passing through Singapore created a uniquely diverse environment, a place where cultures converged and thrived. Today, though they are nothing more than moss-covered ruins resting quietly on the ocean floor, the two shipwrecks off the coast of Singapore remain silent witnesses, reminding us of the golden age of an island that was once a thriving trade center, where the ups and downs of history drifted by with the waves and the passage of time. The mystery of the prehistoric amphibious predator. In the ancient world of the dinosaurs, few creatures have sparked as much curiosity and debate as Spinosaurus, a gigantic monster that once ruled the swamps and waterways more than 90 million years ago. Thanks to decades of archaeological discoveries, scientists have confirmed that Spinosaurus was not only the largest carnivorous dinosaur ever known, but also a strong candidate for the title of the first truly amphibious predator of the Cretaceous period. Yet behind that mysterious exterior lie countless unanswered questions that have left experts around the world unable to reach a consensus. Measuring over 15 meters in length, Spinosaurus possessed a truly unique appearance. A long, crocodile-like snout, sharp, conical teeth, and most notably, a massive, sail-shaped dorsal fin rising high above its body. This feature made it stand out from all other dinosaurs and has captivated anyone fascinated by paleontology. Recently, through analysis of bone structure and fossils, scientists have found increasing evidence that Spinosaurus was adapted for life in the water, with compact hind limbs, an elevated nostril, and especially dense bones that helped it dive and hunt in ancient rivers. Some fossils even show that Spinosaurus had a flat, paddle-like tail to help it move efficiently through murky water. However, the story doesn't end there. While many studies assert that Spinosaurus was the first carnivorous dinosaur to actually live in the water, fierce debate still surrounds its true lifestyle. Some scientists question whether Spinosaurus may have hunted only along riverbanks, using its powerful tail not just for swimming but possibly for courtship displays, asserting dominance or maintaining balance while moving on land. Others argue that its unique anatomy is clear evidence of evolutionary adaptation, reflecting how meat-eating dinosaurs were forced to survive in the competitive, harsh environment of the Cretaceous. The most fascinating thing about Spinosaurus lies not only in its massive build or the mystery of its giant dorsal sail, but also in the decades-long debate about the true nature of this prehistoric predator. Was it the prehistoric crocodile that ruled ancient waterways, or simply an opportunist able to thrive in both worlds? With every new discovery, more questions are raised, pushing scientists to keep searching and unraveling the secrets locked away in fossils that have lain hidden for millions of years. Ancient Egyptian shipwreck and burial ground. Deep beneath the murky waters off the coast of Egypt, the wreck of an ancient galley remains trapped among massive stones. This is the remnant of a catastrophic event that occurred thousands of years ago. The ship was buried beneath the ruins of a temple dedicated to the god Ammon. When a violent earthquake brought down the domed roof and towering walls, giant blocks of stone crashing down and crushing everything beneath. It was at this moment that the port city of Thonis Heracleion, once one of the most important trade centers of ancient Egypt, gradually slipped into oblivion beneath the sea. Underwater archaeologists were astonished when they discovered the wreck, not only because of its existence but also for how well it had been preserved. Despite the weight of debris pressing down on it for over 2 millennia, the remaining structure of the ship still displays the sturdy form of a galley that once sailed the Mediterranean. Most remarkable of all, inside and around the wreck, researchers found a wealth of precious artifacts, delicate pottery shards, everyday objects once used by the crew, and several intact gold amulets, symbols of faith and religion from the people of that era. But the discoveries did not end with the ship. Nearby, explorers uncovered an ancient burial ground buried beneath thick layers of seabed silt. Here, among stone markers for the dead, ceramic jars were interred with the deceased as eternal prayers. Some gold artifacts, including exquisitely crafted amulets, suggest this may have been a cemetery reserved for the noble or wealthy classes of ancient society. This scene is not only a trace of a bygone golden age, but also stands as proof of the destructive power of nature, while also reflecting the deep bond between faith, culture, and daily life in ancient Egypt. Every artifact, every stone slab, every piece of wreckage is an unfinished story about people and enduring values, leaving future generations with countless mysteries and moving reflections on a civilization that once flourished under the African sun, now lying silent on the ocean floor. The mysterious Etruscan civilization in Italy. In the heart of present-day Italy, among the lush hills of Tuscany and Umbria, there once existed a legendary civilization that modern history has yet to fully unravel. This was the Etruscans, also known as the Etruria, people who built a brilliant and prosperous society, leaving a deep imprint on nearly every aspect of Roman culture that followed. From the 9th century BCE, the Etruscans established a network of interconnected city-states, each an independent center, but all tightly bound together in a powerful alliance. Through their organizational skill and shrewdness in trade, they quickly came to control vast territories, stretching from the north to the south of the Italian peninsula. The remains of ancient cities, massive burial grounds, and enduring architectural works that still stand today are living testimony to the strength and creativity of the Etruscans. This civilization was renowned for its sculpture, painting, decorative arts, and especially its stone construction techniques and drainage systems, innovations that the Romans would later adopt and elevate to new heights. But the Etruscans left their mark on more than just architecture. They profoundly shaped the religious life of ancient Rome. Many rituals, customs, entire pantheons of gods, and social organizations were borrowed by the Romans and passed down through thousands of years of history. One remarkable aspect of Etruscan society was the freedom and rights granted to women, far beyond what was common in most contemporary cultures. Women could participate in banquets and discussions with men, have their names inscribed on tombstones, and sometimes even played important roles both within the family and in public life. This unique social dynamic fascinated and sometimes baffled Greek and Roman historians of the ancient world, fueling countless stories about the liberal lifestyle of the Etruscans. Even though they once dominated much of Italy and served as a wellspring of inspiration for Roman development, the secrets of the Etruscan language, writing, and true origins remain a great enigma. The surviving texts have only been partially deciphered, and their architecture and art still carry mysteries that cannot be fully explained. As the Roman Empire grew and eventually absorbed the Etruscan city-states, much of this civilization's legacy was preserved, but many things vanish forever in the relentless flow of time. The Serapeum of Saqqara and the mysterious bull sarcophagi. Hidden deep beneath the ground at Saqqara, once the vast necropolis of ancient Egypt's kings and nobles, lies a burial chamber that has left archaeologists in awe, the Serapeum of Saqqara. This discovery opens the door to a labyrinth stretching hundreds of meters into darkness, where enormous stone sarcophagi are stored, each one weighing dozens of tons and carved from a single block of gleaming black granite. What makes this place truly extraordinary is that these sarcophagi were not intended for people, but were reserved for the sacred Apis bulls, animals worshipped by the Egyptians as incarnations of the god Ptah, symbols of prosperity and power. But it is not just the scale that astonishes. The Serapeum raises a host of questions about the construction techniques, transportation, and true purpose of these massive coffins. The gigantic stone boxes are set deep in underground alcoves, sealed with lids weighing several tons and closed almost hermetically, far exceeding what would normally be required to bury even a revered animal. The very act of creating and moving such immense stones down passageways tens of meters below ground remains a challenge that ancient technology still struggles to explain. This has given rise to many theories, each one opening a new chapter in the story of the Serapeum. According to traditional records, the site was the final resting place of the Apis bulls, carefully selected creatures believed to serve as a bridge between the gods and the mortal world. Yet some modern researchers have argued that these sarcophagi might have been intended for entirely different purposes. One theory suggests they were gigantic fermentation vessels used for producing or storing substances needed in rituals. Even bolder ideas propose that, with their airtight construction and massive size, these coffins might have been designed to generate pressure, create electrical charges, and illuminate the surface above, an ancient technology that we still do not fully understand today. Every step into the Serapeum of Saqqara fills scientists with a sacred and suffocating atmosphere of the past, where great secrets remain unsolved. Whether these stone sarcophagi were truly meant only for the sacred bulls or once served a purpose far beyond ordinary burial, the Serapeum remains one of the most mysterious sites in ancient Egypt, an enduring source of fascination, inspiring generation after generation to investigate, decipher, and imagine the wonders that once unfolded upon this ancient land. The Street Range Altar. In the heart of the city of Tikal, archaeologists discovered a mystery that changed the way people viewed the relationship between two empires that once ruled the Americas. As they dug deep beneath layers of earth and stone in these ruins, they uncovered a brilliantly colored altar, along with skeletons buried in the distinctive style of the Teotihuacan civilization from central Mexico. The altar was not only decorated with the typical red, black, and yellow colors, but also featured images familiar to people from the north, such as the storm god and feathered figures, completely different from traditional Maya art. This discovery showed that Tikal was once the scene of a cultural and political exchange, an infiltration that few had ever imagined. Archaeological evidence points clearly to the year 378 AD, when representatives from Teotihuacan entered Tikal, overthrew the local king, and installed a new ruler. They did not just bring their own rituals, customs, and traditional altars, but also imposed sweeping changes on the lives of the Maya people here. Burial practices, forms of sacrifice, and even religious symbols were introduced into the heart of Maya power as a statement of the Northern Empire's dominance over the local inhabitants. This was a time when Tikal was drawn into a calculated transfer of power, no different from the great political upheavals seen throughout human history. However, history records not only imposition but also the enduring strength of Maya resistance. What remains beneath the earth shows that the Teotihuacan altar was once smashed and then deliberately buried, as if the Maya people wanted to erase all traces of the invaders from the memory of their community. Instead of being completely assimilated, the Maya gradually revived and continued to develop their own unique culture. While the Teotihuacan civilization mysteriously disappeared, a disappearance that no one has been able to explain to this day. The confrontation between these two civilizations left deep marks in the earth and became living proof of the relentless struggles for power and identity. Today, the Maya still live in Mexico and Guatemala, but they no longer maintain the sacrificial customs and ancient rituals that once shook the entire region. Instead, they preserve their traditions through language, architecture, and daily life, becoming living witnesses to a glorious past and to the unresolved mysteries between two once great civilizations in ancient America. The 7,000-year-old underwater site off the coast of Australia. Beneath the blue waters off the northwest coast of Australia, archaeologists unexpectedly discovered a remarkable sight. Ancient stone tools dating back between 7,000 and 8,500 years, still lying quietly on the ocean floor. This discovery opened a doorway to a distant past and brought us back to a time when this land had not yet been swallowed by the sea, when ancient communities lived and left traces of their daily lives on ground that now lies far beneath the waves. The research team had to use a combination of modern technology, such as LiDAR scanning aircraft and sonar, along with the keen instincts of those devoted to archaeology, in order to search for any remaining evidence of this ancient civilization. After months of perseverance, they finally uncovered hundreds of stone tools, from sharp-edged cutting implements to pounding and grinding tools, all found at depths ranging from 2.5 to 14 meters below the current sea level. Each artifact carries a layer of sediment from the ages, standing as a witness to a time when people migrated, hunted, gathered, and adapted to the harsh conditions of nature. More than just ancient objects, this discovery holds special significance in the world of archaeology. It is the first time scientists have found underwater archaeological sites in tropical Australia that are over 5,000 years old. This opens up an entirely new direction of research, helping to unravel more mysteries about the lives of ancient indigenous people, as well as providing a clearer understanding of climate change, rising sea levels, and how these forces have altered landscapes and shaped the destinies of countless civilizations on Earth. The appearance of these stone tools is not only a reminder of humanity's resilience in the face of nature's challenges, but also a call to preserve and continue exploring the mysteries still hidden beneath the ocean. For scientists, every stone fragment and every trace is a key to unlocking the vast treasury of human evolutionary history, to learn how our ancestors adapted and survived for thousands of years on lands that today exist only as wide underwater plains. The forgotten empire of the Pacific. When people think of cities buried by time, they often think first of Pompeii in Italy, a once bustling place left frozen beneath cold volcanic ash for 2,000 years. Yet, on the other side of the world, in the heart of the vast Pacific Ocean, there is an island called Pompeii, a place where mysteries gather that go far beyond even Pompeii. If Pompeii is a symbol of time standing still, then Pompeii is like a tropical dream that has never truly awakened. This land is not only famous for its endless green forests and its picture-perfect waterfalls, but also for being a crossroads where history and the present blend on every inch of ground. Hidden beneath the jungle canopy are ancient walls built by the Spanish old churches from the days of German colonists, and even rusty Japanese tanks lying deep within the forest, as if time here has been rewound into a dramatic film with every scene belonging to a different era. But what truly puts Pompeii at the center of attention lies on the southeast side of the island, where Nan Madol sits quietly amid the deep blue waters. Hundreds of thousands of tons of basalt rock were transported from far away, some blocks weighing up to 50 tons, stacked on top of one another to form 92 artificial islands, linked by winding canals built over white coral beds. What is astonishing is that these ancient people had no metal tools, no wheels, and no pulleys. They left behind no writings or paintings, and all their construction secrets have disappeared with time. The achievements they left are so remarkable that anyone who comes here is overwhelmed by the creativity of ancient humanity. Nan Madol is not only a monumental physical structure, but it is also enveloped in a surreal space filled with legend. When this civilization suddenly vanished about 400 years ago, they left no clear traces except stories of sorcerers using magic to float huge stones through the air or tales of giant dragons that once soared in the sky. Even today, many believe that Nan Madol is a place that holds mystical powers, or perhaps even marks where extraterrestrials once set foot on Earth. That is why this stone city is always cloaked in an atmosphere that is both captivating and eerie. Beyond the legends, strange and even chilling stories about Nan Madol continue to be told to this day. Over a century ago, a German archaeologist excavated a tomb here and died the very same night, while the ship carrying his artifacts sank at sea. Decades later, Japanese divers searching for artifacts beneath the water also disappeared without a trace. Islanders still whisper that anyone who stays in Nan Madol too long will feel an invisible gaze following them everywhere. Some even speak of cursed stones and mysterious dark forces hiding among the basalt ruins. Although scientists have identified the source of some of the basalt stones used to build Nan Madol, more than half remain a great mystery, as no one knows where they came from or how they were brought here. No one is truly certain what this stone city was meant for, whether it was a ceremonial center, a thriving trading city of ancient Micronesia, or perhaps even a spaceport visited by civilizations from beyond Earth. Those questions still drift in the air with the scent of the sea, the breeze, and the sound of waves crashing on basalt, making Nan Madol one of the greatest mysteries humanity has ever known in the Pacific. What do Egyptian mummies smell like? For a long time, people have imagined that ancient Egyptian mummies must carry the musty, cold odor of underground tombs. But modern science has brought a surprising discovery. The latest chemical studies have revealed that Egyptian mummies actually emit a very distinct fragrance, a blend of precious woods, spicy aromas, and a gentle sweetness that is not at all unpleasant, contrary to what many might believe. To create mummies that could withstand the test of time, the ancient Egyptians elevated the art of mummification into a sacred ritual, in which scent played an important role. They used tree resins, essential oils extracted from flowers and herbs, combined with natron salt and rare spices. The choice of fragrances was not only for preserving the body, but also reflected their beliefs about purity and divinity. The Egyptians believed that a sweet aroma was a sign of nobility, a way to bring the soul of the deceased closer to the gods on the journey to the afterlife. Scientists today have gone beyond chemical analysis. They also want to recreate the scent of mummies as vividly as possible for the public. By combining advanced analytical methods with the experience of professional fragrance experts, they have begun to reconstruct the very blend of aromas that once surrounded the ancient Egyptian kings, queens, and nobility. In the near future, museum visitors around the world may not only see mummies, but also experience them through scent, allowing their senses to travel back to the ancient world and the sacred rituals of one of history's greatest civilizations. The mysterious connection of prehistoric Britain. Amidst the blue waters of the Mediterranean, the island of Sardinia was once the silent yet powerful heart of Bronze Age Europe. Here, the Nuragic culture rose to become one of the most advanced civilizations of its era, known not only for its sturdy stone structures, but also for its remarkable trading abilities and refined cheese-making arts. Thanks to its abundant copper reserves, Sardinia became a vital hub in the continent's metal trade network, cleverly combining its own copper with precious tin sourced from distant Britain. This connection created a current of goods and cultural influence stretching from northern Europe to the southern seas, turning Sardinia into a crossroads where all the great routes stopped before continuing their journey to faraway lands. Traces of these exchanges are found not only in ancient records, but scattered across the Mediterranean. Archaeologists have discovered artifacts and distinctive Nuragic stone tombs not only in Sardinia, but as far away as Scotland, a testament to the civilization's far-reaching influence. From the bustling ports of Britain, rare tin was shipped to Sardinia, then continued its journey as far as Egypt, Turkey, Israel, and islands such as Crete, Sicily, and Cyprus, carrying the mark and products of the Nuragic people to every corner. More than just traders, the people of Sardinia were also warriors sought after by great civilizations. Ancient records show that Egyptian pharaohs once hired them as personal bodyguards, valuing the loyalty and military skills of the Nuragic people. They even established communities and small colonies in many foreign lands, leaving traces in pottery, utensils, and even customs passed down to this day. Across centuries, the Nuragic left their mark on the map of the Mediterranean, making Sardinia a gathering point for many cultures. Yet, despite its former glory, the Nuragic civilization eventually faded quietly into the shadows of history. Even today, no one can explain why such a powerful empire could disappear almost without a trace. The towering stone towers, ancient tombs, and evidence of once thriving trade now stand as silent witnesses to a golden age that has passed, leaving future generations with the great question of how a civilization that once reached across Europe could vanish so mysteriously into the mists of the past. The forgotten Greek city in Afghanistan. Hidden among the arid and rugged lands of northern Afghanistan lies an ancient Greek city called I-Khan, also poetically known as the Moon Princess. Once, it was a shining jewel along the Silk Road of ancient history. Few would suspect that this place, which seemed to belong only to legend, was the work of human hands, built by one of the most talented generals of Alexander the Great. After Alexander's death, his generals divided his vast empire, and at the confluence of the Kokcha and Amu Daria rivers, the city of Moon Princess was born as a crossroads of culture between East and West. This was once a bustling center where Greeks, Persians, and Indians lived and thrived in a space rich with art and philosophy. Marble buildings, sturdy columns, and statues of Greek gods rose along the riverbanks beside towering city walls. Here, people wore togas, debated philosophy, discussed art, and even sports, creating a society filled with the spirit of the Mediterranean in the heart of Asia. The city also boasted a great theater that could seat thousands, a venue for artistic performances and public debates that allowed the voice and soul of Greece to echo all the way to the edge of Central Asia. Archaeologists have found countless traces of everyday life: bricks engraved with mythological scenes, coins bearing the image of Zeus and Hindu deities, clear evidence of the deep blending of major cultures. The existence of Moon Princess stands as striking proof of the flow of Greek civilization, spreading not only with the footsteps of the generals, but leaving a lasting mark on the architecture, religion, and daily life of this distant land. It was here that elements of Western and Eastern art came together, creating masterpieces of carving and unique architectural styles, which later influenced the great dynasties of India and Central Asia. Yet that glory did not last forever. By 145 BC, nomadic tribes from the Eurasian steppes invaded and destroyed the city. Palaces, temples, and all traces of Greek civilization were quickly buried beneath the ashes of war. Today, the ruins of Moon Princess lie silently among the fields and rocky hills, living evidence of a time when East and West met in one of the greatest cultural convergences in human history. The Roman settlement, sunk beneath the Venetian Lagoon. Beneath the waters of the Venetian Lagoon, now known as one of the most romantic cities in the world, archaeologists have unexpectedly discovered traces of an ancient civilization that once existed thousands of years ago. These are not grand palaces or magnificent buildings like modern Venice, but ruins hidden deep beneath layers of mud and water, an ancient Roman road, and scattered architectural structures lying silent beneath the lagoon. This discovery has completely changed previous understandings of this area, for it shows that this place was once solid land, home to Roman communities long before Venice appeared on the map of history. More than 2,000 years ago, this region was once dry land, favorable for human settlement and the development of structures. Over time, especially after the last ice age, as the climate warmed, melting ice caused the sea level to rise rapidly. In just a few centuries, villages and busy roads were submerged. These remains are silent witnesses to the dramatic transformations of nature and the changes to which people had to adapt. Interestingly, contrary to what many believe about the origins of Venice, archaeologists have found no records of the city from the Roman era. The ruins beneath the lagoon reveal a different story. Venice did not appear suddenly, but gradually formed over hundreds of years, from small villages that survived the collapse of the Western Roman Empire in the 4th century. It is this blending of ancient ruins and the flow of history that has created a mysterious Venice, where each layer of mud beneath the lagoon conceals a secret of the past, long buried by the waves. The discovery of the Roman settlement beneath Venice not only enriches the city's trove of history, but also opens the door for further research into the formation of Venice and the extraordinary ways in which people adapted to unforeseen natural changes. Behind the glamorous beauty of the city of canals are untold stories of a civilization once lost beneath the waters, stories that have now been awakened by the light of archaeology. Humanity's first artificial fire. When speaking of the greatest turning points in human history, it is impossible not to mention the moment when our ancestors learned how to create fire on their own. For a very long time, fire has been a symbol of life, power, and intelligence. But it was not until about 400,000 years ago in Kesem Cave in Israel that the first archaeological evidence was found showing that ancient humans knew how to deliberately make fire. The remains of ancient hearths, traces of ash, and stone tools all tell an extraordinary story about humanity's journey to conquer nature. Kesem Cave is where archaeologists found signs of many repeated fire-making events in the same spot. This is proof that fire had become an essential part of daily life for the early community living there. Ancient people no longer had to wait for lightning or natural disasters to bring them fire. Instead, they had learned to create flames themselves for cooking, warmth, protection from wild animals, and even community gatherings. That very first fire was a milestone marking the transformation from cave dwellers to masters of nature. Although humans learned to make fire hundreds of thousands of years ago, it would take almost another 360,000 years before fire-making technology became widespread knowledge across the globe. Only around 40,000 years ago, when modern human communities began to spread over the continents, did fire truly become an indispensable tool for every civilization. The prevalence of fire changed the entire rhythm of life, opening up new possibilities in cooking, food preparation, warmth, and tool-making. The ability to master fire not only helped humans survive better, but also laid the foundation for the development of language, art, science, and society. Fire illuminated dark caves, warmed cold nights, and helped turn small communities into the seeds of great civilizations. That is why, every time we look into a flickering flame, we are reminded of the first great leap made by our ancestors. The Piri Reis map and the mystery of Antarctica. As early as 1513, at a time when much of the world still believed in monstrous lands and dangers lurking at the edges of maps, a strange geographical work emerged that would completely change our understanding of maritime history. This was the map created by Ottoman Admiral Piri Reis, a masterpiece drawn on gazelle skin, with a level of detail that far surpassed the standards of the 16th century. What has made this map a subject of controversy for hundreds of years is not just the way it clearly depicts the coastlines of Europe, Africa, and even parts of the Americas, but a detail that has left researchers and theorists astonished: the appearance of a landmass strikingly similar to Antarctica. What is so unusual is that at the time, Antarctica had not yet been officially discovered. European explorers would not set foot on this icy continent for more than 300 years after the map was made. Yet, Piri Reis's map seems to outline the shape of a southern landmass, not only matching Antarctica's location, but showing a coastline in astonishing detail, even presenting an image of Antarctica free of ice and snow. This becomes even more mysterious in light of geologists' claims that the last time Antarctica was ice-free was tens of millions of years ago. Countless theories have emerged as a result. Some believe that Piri Reis had access to ancient source maps, possibly the legacy of a long-lost advanced civilization that has since vanished without a trace. Others suggest that this is evidence of unknown explorers, and there are even speculations about intervention from visitors from beyond Earth. Well-known researchers like Charles Hapgood, Graham Hancock, and Eric von Däniken have all argued that the Piri Reis map is a remnant of an era when humanity possessed knowledge far beyond what we understand today. Although most modern scholars believe the land depicted on the map is simply a mistaken rendering of the South American coastline, or the mythical Terra Australis, the strange details and Piri Reis's own notes about using many ancient source maps, including some believed to be drawn by Christopher Columbus, leave major questions about the true origins of this knowledge. Today, the Piri Reis map remains an endlessly fascinating topic for archaeologists, historians, and anyone captivated by the unsolved mysteries of human history. Was this map merely a product of imagination, or does it truly open a window onto a world that existed before our modern civilization, one in which Antarctica may have been discovered long ago? This remains a mystery that defies all explanation and continues to inspire new journeys in the search for truth about humanity's past. The elongated skull with a metal implant in Peru. At the Osteology Museum in Oklahoma, a mysterious skull originating from Peru has left researchers astonished and sparked an unprecedented debate. This skull draws attention not only because of its unusually elongated shape, a characteristic feature of the ancient cranial deformation practices once common in many South American cultures, but also due to a far more peculiar detail: a long strip of metal firmly attached to the side of the skull, covering a large hole. Unlike typical artifacts, this skull raises perplexing questions about the medical abilities of ancient peoples, as well as the many things still unknown in human history. Some archaeologists believe this metal piece could be evidence of advanced cranial surgery, suggesting a level of medical expertise far beyond what we currently understand of the ancient world. If this was truly a successful surgical case, then both the techniques and materials used would have reached a sophistication that would surprise even many modern civilizations. Some ancient records show that Peruvians once used gold or precious alloys to protect skulls damaged by injury, serving as a form of therapy after serious trauma. However, not all experts are convinced of the authenticity of the metal implant. Some argue that the object may have been added later by collectors seeking to enhance commercial value and public curiosity. The unclear origin and timing of the metal's placement on the skull have fueled intense debate, with strongly opposing viewpoints within the academic community. Beyond traditional scientific hypotheses, the story of this elongated skull with a metal implant has also inspired ideas that reach far beyond the imagination. Some have wondered whether this could be a trace of extraterrestrial technology once encountered by ancient people, or perhaps evidence of a lost civilization with medical knowledge that surpassed anything we know today. The Loch Ness Monster. Loch Ness in Scotland has long been one of the world's most mysterious locations, where the legend of the monster known as Nessie continues to captivate millions. For nearly a century, any strange trace that appears on the surface of the lake has quickly spread and sparked a frenzy among enthusiasts of unexplained phenomena. Recently, a video capturing a series of mysterious black humps on the water stunned many viewers. The clip shows a chain of strange shapes gliding smoothly across the calm lake, moving in a way that looks nothing like waves, fish, or even motorboats. What makes this video especially striking is the complete stillness of the setting. There is nothing in the scene that could have caused interference. The black humps rise and sink in sequence, creating a soft, continuous motion like the back of some large creature silently swimming just below the surface. As soon as these images were made public, excitement returned to Loch Ness. Researchers, monster hunters, and curious tourists flocked to the area, hoping to witness something extraordinary or perhaps find a final answer to one of humanity's greatest mysteries. While scientists remain cautious, suggesting that these mysterious disturbances might only be large schools of fish, underwater currents, or simply drifting debris, the steady stream of new evidence keeps people wondering. Loch Ness is famously deep and cold, its waters often cloaked in mist, easily creating optical illusions that play tricks on human senses. Yet, this very skepticism has helped keep the legend alive, fueling the imagination and belief of generation after generation. Nessie is not only a mythical creature of Scotland, but also a symbol of our enduring desire to conquer the world's greatest mysteries. The legend of Nessie has become deeply woven into popular culture, inspiring countless movies, books, and television programs. The appearance of new footage only adds to the allure of Loch Ness, turning it into a must-visit destination for anyone who loves adventure and discovery. Many people believe that beneath the surface, the lake still hides countless secrets that have yet to be revealed, and that Nessie is the silent gatekeeper of all these enduring legends. The moons of Uranus may harbor oceans and life. The latest analysis from data sent back by the Voyager spacecraft has revealed an astonishing secret about the major moons of Uranus, prompting scientists to reconsider the possibility of life existing within our own solar system. While most people have long assumed that the distant, icy worlds orbiting Uranus are nothing more than cold, barren rocks, researchers have discovered that the planet's 4 largest moons, Ariel, Umbriel, Titania, and Oberon, may be hiding vast underground oceans of liquid water beneath their thick frozen crusts. The existence of these hidden oceans is more than just a theory. It is supported by unusual readings in gravitational fields, magnetic activity, and chemical signatures recorded by Voyager. Scientists believe that beneath the frigid ice, there are briny seas rich in chloride and ammonia, which prevent the water from freezing solid and help create a stable environment lasting for millions of years. Heat generated from the moon's cores is also thought to play a crucial role in maintaining the liquid state of the water, despite the harsh conditions on the surface. These underground oceans not only suggest the existence of a strange and unfamiliar world, but also raise an important question. Could they be home to extraterrestrial life? Researchers argue that such salty, thermally stable environments could offer a perfect refuge for primitive organisms, much like the early life forms that once appeared in Earth's ancient oceans. If this theory proves true, we could be on the brink of a major turning point in the search for life in the universe, as the distant moons of Uranus suddenly emerge as promising candidates, perhaps even more so than larger planets like Mars or Venus. The discovery of the giant sarcophagus. Amid the windswept desert of Saqqara, archaeologists marked a rare discovery that astonished the world. For the first time, an intact sarcophagus carved from rosy granite was opened, perfectly preserved since ancient Egypt. The owner of this enormous coffin was Ptah, a powerful official who once served as financial administrator under the reign of Ramses the Great, one of the most legendary pharaohs in Egyptian history. What makes this discovery so remarkable is not only the sarcophagus's immense size and imposing presence, but also its extraordinary state of preservation. Over thousands of years, most tombs in Saqqara have been looted or repurposed, leaving little of their original character. Yet this sarcophagus seemed to have been protected underground, waiting undisturbed for the day it would be revealed. When the archaeological team finally reached it, they found themselves face to face with a true masterpiece of sculpture. The surface of the sarcophagus is intricately carved with images of divine protection. Gods spreading their wings to shelter the departed, lines of hieroglyphics wishing Ptah's soul peace on its journey to the afterlife. Most striking of all is a portrait of Ptah himself, sculpted directly onto the sarcophagus, his gentle features and ceremonial false beard clearly depicted. This discovery not only adds to the rich heritage of ancient Egypt, but also provides a vivid new perspective on the social hierarchy and artistry of the era of Ramses. For researchers, every detail on the sarcophagus tells a story, each symbolic layer opening a door into the spiritual world of the ancient Egyptians. And for anyone who loves history, this is a rare moment to witness the enduring legacy of values and traditions that time seemed to have buried beneath the golden sands of Saqqara. Noah's Ark. For more than a century, expeditions have set foot on the slopes of Mount Ararat in Turkey, all driven by the same powerful hope to find surviving traces of the legendary Noah's Ark. This quest is more than a search for an ancient artifact. It is a journey in pursuit of one of humanity's greatest legends, where religion, archaeology, and the deepest questions about real history all converge. The legend tells that when the Great Flood swept away all living things, only Noah, his family, and a pair of every animal were saved aboard a giant ark, drifting across endless waters until the storm subsided and life began anew. According to tradition, Mount Ararat is the resting place where the ark settled as the waters receded. Since the late 19th century, countless explorers, scholars, and devoted believers have braved snow, ice, and harsh terrain, searching for a fossilized plank, a mark among the cold stones, anything that could confirm the existence of the famous vessel. Over the years, many have claimed to find mysterious pieces of wood, unusual formations on the mountain slopes, and even satellite images that have sparked waves of hope, only to be followed by renewed skepticism. Each time, debate erupts again between scientists and believers. One side insists that there is no definitive scientific evidence, while the other holds firmly to the stories passed down through scripture and legend for thousands of years. What is remarkable is that the story of the Great Flood and the saving ark is not confined to the Bible. It appears in various forms in ancient civilizations all over the world, from the Epic of Gilgamesh in Mesopotamia to legends in Asia and the Americas. The striking similarities among these accounts have led many to believe that behind the mists of myth, there may once have been one or even several real, catastrophic natural disasters that inspired the memory of a great flood, passed down and reshaped over countless generations. Today, even though the search has yet to yield undeniable proof of Noah's Ark, every expedition to Mount Ararat and every new debate over the flood legend reminds us of the enduring power of belief and of humanity's deep longing to understand the origins and meaning of life on this planet. The discovery of a 43-year-old missing persons case. The missing persons case that spanned 43 years on the Connecticut River is not simply a heartbreaking story about the disappearance of a woman. It is also the long journey of those who remained, living with pain and questions that had no answers, until the day when modern technology became the key to unlocking a forgotten past. The story begins on a fateful night in 1978, when Alberta Lehman left her home and vanished on the way back, leaving her family trapped in endless waiting and despair. They searched tirelessly for years, but every clue seemed to disappear with the quiet waters of the river. For more than 4 decades, Alberta's disappearance became an obsession for both her family and the local community. Her loved ones never let go of hope and continued to ask questions about Alberta's fate, while the authorities also refused to give up, even as the years went by and so many traces of time were lost. It was not until 2021, when sonar scanning technology and remotely operated robots had advanced, that hope truly returned. These modern devices allowed search teams to scan every meter of the riverbed, even in the deep and dark areas that humans had never been able to reach before. Beneath the thick silt of the Connecticut River, the sonar detected a strange object that was the old Pontiac car that Alberta had driven that night. Professional divers were brought in to recover the car. When the license plate was confirmed and the remains inside were identified, all the mysteries that had lasted 43 years were finally answered. The pain of loss seemed to subside, giving way to a sense of peace as the answers were finally returned to those who had lived in hopeless waiting. For Alberta's family, this was the end of a tragic chapter, but it was also the opportunity for them to hold a proper farewell and say goodbye to their loved one. This discovery did not only ease the pain of one family, but it also became an inspiring story for many others with missing relatives. It showed that, no matter how long time stretches, the truth can still be found if there is perseverance and the advancement of science and technology. Sonar and robot technology have allowed investigators to reach deep into the water, shining a light on mysteries that once seemed destined to remain forever in darkness. The fake skeletons in the Colorado River. The story of 2 mysterious skeletons at the bottom of the Colorado River once stirred up a storm of curiosity and debate among both the local community and the American media. It all began when a man, out for a recreational dive, unexpectedly discovered 2 human skeletons sitting upright on lawn chairs, about 12 meters beneath the water's surface. The bizarre sight startled him so much that he immediately called the police, convinced he had stumbled upon a chilling, long-hidden crime scene. Rescue teams and police rushed to the scene, bringing specialized diving gear and underwater cameras to capture footage from the riverbed. When the first images came up, many were left unsettled by the eerie scene. 2 people sitting motionless underwater, seemingly enjoying a surreal tea party in the depths of the river. However, as divers examined the site more closely, the truth gradually came to light. The skeletons were nothing more than plastic props securely fastened to the chairs, each one even wearing sunglasses, which only added to the scene's bizarre sense of humor. Once news of the discovery spread, social media and news outlets quickly shared the images, and a flood of speculation ranging from serious to tongue-in-cheek. Many people wondered about the mastermind behind such an elaborate prank, with some even giving the skeletons playful nicknames inspired by the movie Weekend at Bernie's. In the end, a couple from Phoenix stepped forward to claim responsibility. explaining that it was simply a harmless joke meant to surprise swimmers and divers exploring the river's bottom. Although just an odd prank, the skeletons on chairs became a lively topic of conversation, capturing widespread attention and reminding everyone that sometimes, beneath what appears to be the most sinister of mysteries, there can be light-hearted and amusing stories drawn from everyday life. If you found these mysterious stories fascinating, be sure to leave your thoughts below, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you won't miss out on our next discoveries. See you in the next video.